Hi, come on in. I'm sitting between the flowers that this one bloomed all winter on a different spike. It was an old spike I had left on the orchid. And then it got a new spike and it's been blooming for so long, so I had to have it in the picture. And the same with this one, which in a traffic cone. And before I talked to you about a shocking thing I saw on watering day that I have to share with you. So this is just an empty, dirty bowl that I have to dump things into. But it is pouring rain and I'm sitting out here because this room on a day like this when it's not got the sun beating on it and it's 100 degrees in here, mornings and evenings and rainy days are lovely out here, so it's a really nice place to be. And the chickens can hear me talking, so they're running around, they're thinking, me. So, and Maggie's sleeping somewhere, she's getting older and that's what she's like. So I wanted to share this with you because I was shocked on watering day what I found. So do you remember, those of you who have been watching, Rosemary had bought me an orchid from Kamloops that had 4 spikes on it. Now one died off and I cut it off some weeks ago, but there's still 3 spikes on it. And it was very unusual to see, for me anyway, an orchid with 4 spikes. All at one time, all fairly new. So that seemed awesome, like holy. And when I repotted it into this glass vase, which all my other orchids, mostly except the traffic cones, are in now, and I'm very happy with this situation. I put it into this. It came in bark. That was the other thing. This orchid came in bark, so it didn't have a medium change. It had the 4 spikes, which are still 3 of them blooming. So I went to water it, plus this one I've kept in the kitchen because it was in bloom and I was watching it. Well, not closely enough. And watering day, I looked at it and I thought, those leaves are limp. They weren't limp. Even the new leaf is feeling a little limp, and I'm thinking, well, that's not good. And then I'm thinking, well, I've got to check this out. And then I remembered all the things. It came in bark. It seemed healthy. And Jack and I were talking about it in the car. I said, I got to do a video. And he said, well, maybe they forced it so much so that it would have 4 spikes. And then it had to go off all these whatever it was getting and end up in a normal lifestyle, and it couldn't do it. It's in shock. And he says, you know, like someone who's doing a bunch of drugs and all of a sudden they have to come off. I don't know about that, but anyway, that's what he said. He says he's seen it. Anyway, we're too old for that kind of stuff, I think. And so anyway, I think the best thing to do right now, I'm going to dump the whole thing out and look at the roots because these roots were fantastic. If you went back and looked at the video, which wasn't too many months ago, you will see, it was spring, you will see how beautiful it was. It was in bark, so there was no medium change. Nothing should have bothered it that I can think of. But the first thing we're going to do is, because it's got limp leaves, and if your plant is suffering, and if I'd noticed it sooner, I would have done this sooner, is cut the spikes off because it needs help, definitely, and it's had to really work with 4 spikes. So let's just take these off first before I dump it out. There. How are you guys doing? What's your weather doing? Ours, I really can't complain. We've had hot weather. we've had cloudy weather, we've had rainy weather, we've had a thunderstorm. The other day, out of nowhere, my brother texted me and he said, I think you guys are going to get a storm. And I looked out the window and I thought, no, it was getting, I think about 6 o'clock p.m. or something. And a few minutes later, huge big thunderstorm, huge big windstorm. And I looked out the window and there's a big canvas top over where the chickens go. It had blew right off, like it was a major windstorm. It had blew right off. And I'm trying to pick it up, and I thought, well, I'll tuck it in the alleyway on the way of the chickens. And they were scared because the top blew off, and it ran in front of the little hole where they go back into their safe chicken area. So they were scared. So I got that off, and I had to run in the chicken house, and I had to beg them to come on, because they were so wet. I finally got them in there, and I closed the little door so that they couldn't go out there anymore. And I was standing there with this, and a great big blast of wind came in. One of the tarps that's over the chicken pen was like a bowl full of water. The wind came, blew all that water right on my head, and I got drenched. And I should say, it was late, and I was out there in my house coat because we decided to get comfortable that day. Oh, my goodness. So, the weather creates some fun, but I'm not going to complain about the weather because we don't have forest fires here, and thank goodness for that. We're getting hot and rain and cool, and today we're getting cool, and they said cloudy with thunder showers, and that's about what it's been doing. So let's take these off of here, like that. And then I've been dealing with things. My eye, I don't know, people get cataracts, and people get all kinds of things when you're getting a few years older, but this eye has been dry eye. It's been so irritated lately. Oh boy, one thing after another. So there's the dry spike I cut off earlier. It has actually dried right up. And I'm going to take these off before I even turn it upside down. There's one. I'll give it some water in a minute. We'll put you in there. And another one. They're very beautiful. And another one. And another one. Okay, there. So I know there's strange weather everywhere, so we're lucky to have what we have, and our prayers were out to so many people going through such awful weather. So anyway, let's dump this out and just see how the roots look. Because I have to say, they did look perfect when I put them in here. And Wednesday was watering day, so, we're halfway to another Wednesday. So we're going to see what we got in here. It's actually quite dry. It's been in the house. It's quite dry. Just a slight dampness, not too much to be worried about. Actually, not bad. And I'll show you a close-up of that in a minute. But let's have a look at these roots. Oh, you see, I had no rotten roots when I put this in here. And I'm saying it's a little dry, but you know what? This wouldn't have got like this without being too wet. And that's what I was worried about my smaller bark. And this was an old, the very bottom of my bag, I ordered new bark from the farm and garden where we live here, and it has not come. Still. But so I had ordered some online, which I used before, and so there was one wet one, which I put here, so I can show you. Here's another one. This one is definitely wet. This one goes quite a ways up. It goes. So that's weird. Okay. this is it. When you have an orchid, here's another one. When you have an orchid that is not doing well, and I wish I'd noticed this sooner, but I didn't. Now this one too. I'm just going to take that off. This was perfect. These roots were perfect. So, and I'd left these long at the time, but I hate to cut roots off. The bottom is quite green and healthy, firm. So why those ones, there's no sign of sogginess in here at all. I think what I'm going to do is get the rest of the cork out and spread it more through the bark. Okay. Now I'm going to come over and show you this. I think I took quite a few off. There's a little one right there. See, we don't want any more stress. I want to save this orchid. I don't want any more stress on this plant. Now, the only root that looks sort of is this one's a bit green, and this one, this long one here, has a new sprout on the end. And so, even though some were wet, some were looking good. So the others, I see no signs. It's been in this pot, but I don't see any real signs of like life. So I'm going to come and show you that up close. And I'm going to put it back in this bark. I'm not giving it any more water. I'm going to show you that too. And it's very interesting why this is happening, because my other orchids are quite fine. So here we are. We can see like these leaves, they're limp. It's struggling. And these, when I look now, halfway to watering day, when you're saying, well, should I have to water again? Or they are very dry, very dry. And yet here we have a little growth trying to come on the end, and we have some green here. I do not want to cut them off because maybe they're the only ones doing anything. I have this one here can come off. I don't know if I want to pull too hard. Let's just take that off of there. Okay, so yeah, these are all dry. I could cut them off. So there's a spike I cut off. I cut it high so that, now I could put cinnamon on it, but I don't have any out here right now. But I've cut them high because there's less likelihood of bacteria going back down them if you cut them high. And then later, when they dry like this one, I can chop them off safely. That's kind of what I do. So this is what we're looking at. There's another one. So I'm going to put it back in. It's just suffering for some reason. And I'll show you a handful of this. This is, all of it is pretty well. So I don't think I need to water it before watering day. I might just pop over the thing and rinse the roots. But things are looking, I'm going to show you. I'm going to put him over there. And these are the roots I took off. There's the roots I took off. Mostly damp, which is strange again, mostly damp. So it definitely wasn't getting enough airspace. So instead of having a lot of the cork on the bottom, you can see the darkness of this bark. It is damp. And maybe in a couple little areas it was staying damp too long. So I'm going to intersperse the cork a little more. I'm just going to run to the sink and give this a little rinse. It'll just be a minute. Just a rinse. There. Okay. Put you on the towel. So I think it's just the stress of, I had left some of the bark it came in and just mixed a little bit of my bark in. So I really don't think it was anything to do with immediate change, or I think that it's just a shock of some change and not enough airspace, because it's definitely not dry, and those rotted because they were wet. And the ones that are still dry looking, they're not in a position where they were getting wet. So they're better off at this stage, I feel, to cut those flowers off and let all the energy go to the leaves. And this is the growing season. And now that I've given it some water, you know, I see a color change already. So if it has more space and doesn't dry up, I think that's part of it. So not a big change. But I think I had a lot of cork on the bottom. And what I'm going to do, because I have found, funny about the cork, they seem to, the orchids seem to like it. Okay, let's put some on the bottom, because I don't think the roots are going to go that far yet. Let's see how far. There, like that. And then we'll just, I think, put the cork through more. It is helping for airspace. And I think the ones that rotted were in a spot where there just wasn't enough airspace, because, but a lot of this bark was bark they were used to. And I don't know, tell me what you think I should do. Because it's not the pots, because they're doing so good, and I'm going to show you them close up. So, okay, we're going to put that in there. So I don't know, I haven't been back down to Buckerfield, so we've just been doing one thing and the other. So I have to find out why I am not getting any bark. I mean, I've ordered it other years, years and years. I've used Rexia's huge big bark, and they've ordered it. They sold it in the store in big chunks, but they decided to not do that anymore, so I don't know. But at least we found a small bag online, but a lot more expensive. You know, maybe I will. It's dark. I'm just going to give this a dribble of water, I think. Let's see, it has to last Monday, Tuesday. It could have been drying out, but this is where you have you're torn, because the limp leaves can be too wet or too dry. Well, maybe some were too dry, but some were too wet. So if I give it any, it'll be a slight mist on the top. I won't water it. It's got water on its roots right now. And I'm going to put this over here. Even though it's raining a little, I have to take you and show you our garden. We had one of our own tomatoes and cherry tomatoes. Things are growing good, and soon we'll be getting all our own tomatoes. Okay, I think this is the best solution for the problem. And and when I mist, I will just give it a mist at the top, so some might go down. But I will not like squirt, 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 squirt. It'll be like squirt, squirt. That's it. I might do that on and off for the top layers, because all my orchids get dry in the top, like this one. All its roots in here are green, but these are all very dry on the top. Because it has been very dry, even though we've had rain. Our humidity was like 30%. So, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to keep my eye on it, and I'm probably going to put it in the shelf over here, and I want to show you a close-up of over here. Let's see, I'll find a little spot. Now I have a fish humidifier back here, so I think it'll get some humidity. maybe more than it was getting in the house. And let me get the camera. They think I'm talking to them. I'll give them a treat after. Let me take that off and not turn it off like I did once before. There we go. So the flowers, they are fine. Look at this. They're just beautiful. I do not want to lose this orchid. The flowers are beautiful. I got to give it some water. Now, this one here is the first one I did in glass. And you can see there's lots of green, healthy roots here. And you can see how dry this bark at the top is. And this one's been in the house because it was in bloom. And I've been misting this on and off here. So, and the same over here. This one was in the living room, and its roots at the top are dry, but not as dry as the other one. And the flowers are still very pretty. But I've had them in because I like to look at them, and the leaves are still growing. It's in a traffic cone, and it's got lots of leaves. So, now over here, up here, the roots are coming green in here. See this? And up here, it's still flowering. This one has one left. But the roots are good. The plant is doing good. So the top row, I'm going to try and get new leaves. See all the roots green? Going down even into the bark. Lots of growth. The tips are big on the roots. And here, this dendrobium's just been little spots where it hadn't flowered. It's been flowering and flowering. It lost some and got some. And its little roots are doing good down in here. This one here, it's just look at this root. It went. And we still have this one in bloom. It's been in bloom a long time. And then Georgia Pearl, she still has flowers. And her root growth, remember I put her in a glass pot? There are lots of new shoots of roots coming. She's happy in there. And this is the last one I potted and left some bark in there. So it's in crystal. You can't really see the roots in there, but its leaves are firm. That's how they should be. Now this one was one that I did have limp leaves, and so it was put here not long ago, but it is getting some root growth, and it seems to be perking up. And that one right there I'm showing you now, it's the one that had a crash in the kitchen. And it's got a few damaged leaves, but it's perking up now. And Mini Mart, she's got really good roots. She seems to be doing good, but she's losing her flowers. So down here I have the traffic cones, which still do really well. And this is the one that I lost the orchid, but it grew a basil keiki. Look at the size of the basil keiki coming. And the leaves are doing good. This one got burnt when I first put them out here. I had to add this to the window. I hope to solve that problem permanently. And I got all the oncidiums back here. Watering day goes quick out here. Traffic cone, and this glass one is doing good. So we're hanging in there. Even this basket surprises me. The basket is full of air holes down here. They've been in here, I don't know, 2-3 years now, and they were all dying when I put them here. And yet they're in the small bark. They're getting tons of air. They're not getting extra water. They just seem to like it. Sometimes you get one that just isn't happy. And that's all there is to it. So, okay, let's go take a quick look at the garden. We might as well. Sort of, you can see it's wet down there. It's definitely been raining. I chopped the daisies off because they were finished. And there's the chickens. We got 3 eggs so far, and there's 1 hen missing. So maybe we're going to get 4 today. Let's go over here first. Look at the grapes. It seems everybody's got bumper crops of all their fruits this year. Everything is just loaded. We make our own juice, so that's good. And the bee balm, which bees do love, I grew these in these pots. And I thought, you know, our winters with -10 and really, really, really cold, they survive being a pot. So if you live somewhere and their roots are horrendous, you don't want them in your flower garden if you're planning on cleaning around there. They work real well in pots. 2 winters they've come up, survived the winter, and they do attract bees. Lilies here. Here I'm waiting for red peppers. So I got 3 nice green ones in there. So that's good. And more flowers coming. But we're getting cherry tomatoes. And they're sweet and they're delicious. So once they start coming, everything follows. And there's a lot. And you can also do that in just a pot on your patio. And over here, we haven't filled this yet, but when you have an above ground bin, you don't have to fill it all with dirt. In fact, you shouldn't, because what you want is vegetation, old pieces of wood, things that bugs like on the bottom, because there's the regular ground under it, and it encourages bug places for worms and stuff to live, and that's good for your plants. So we will fill this out with cuttings from trees and dirt and a mixture of stuff, compost, chicken manure, and then when we get about halfway up, we will start putting soil. Okay? Okay, this one says it's 60 degrees out here, over in the shade. Okay. Cut the lilies off. They're pretty well finished. And this is another bee balm. I tried them in a raised bed, but their roots are horrendous. Boy, they root, and I thought they'd die when they froze, but they didn't. And there's a little rascal I painted. I just played with them little things. Okay, let's look over here. We've been getting lots of these yellow squashes, and they are delicious. Down there. You have to put your gloves on when you pick them, because these are prickly. And in here I got bok choy growing, but something's been eating it a bit. The tomatoes are getting ready to think about turning color. And they're healthy, they look good. Yeah, gonna have lots of tomatoes because I can them. I like, oh, there's one turning now, down there, see? So they're green, but they're coming quite thick. Of course, I use chicken manure. Yay, can get my own manure. I had to dig it in because it was fresh. It wasn't. So I've also been getting lots of cucumbers where I pick them from. Okay, and I think it's time to pick my garlic. Rosemary, if you're watching this, is it time to pick my garlic? She's good at this. And we're getting tons of broccoli, but we get these little ones. But they're just right for us because I keep coming and picking them, and we steam them. And then, but we don't get the great big broccolis, probably because I cut them off. But there's no more strawberries coming here. I have been getting nice big English cukes. I picked one the other day. There's another one growing there. See what else is here so I don't miss anything. You can miss them. There, it's growing. Now this was supposed to be all salad stuff and it just really didn't grow too much. Sadly. Okay, let's go in the greenhouse. Oh, the sun's trying to shine. There was quite a bit of thunder. Oh, look at this cucumber. See, I was looking and I missed it. Ooh, boy, I'll have to come out and pick that one. There. I love it. Okay, we have been getting lots of strawberries. So there's tomatoes, lots of tomatoes coming in here. We had one from in here. And in here, there's lots of strawberries still coming. Bugs have to get into the greenhouse. There's a nice red one over there. Yeah, we'll have a little, we get enough for a little snack anyway. But the tomatoes are starting to turn color. So that's a good thing. I'd come out and check and pick. So anyway. I guess that's it. There's one chicken missing. Yes, there is. Little Red's missing. No, yeah, Little Red's missing. I think we're going to get a fourth egg. Okay, and these snapdragons were left from a pot I had last year that just dropped seeds, and they're so pretty. I bought some in the house. Anyway, there's a look at our sky. And thanks for joining me, everybody. I know, oh, I should go look at these flower pots, you know, even though, and I just made my own from little plants, those that remember. And it was well worth it. Because even through the pouring rain, I bought the zonal geraniums for the center because they stay high instead of the hanging ones. And then I put the little baby petunias for hanging down the sides. And it worked out way better that way. So we're not in there today. I got this turned off right now. It was raining and I thought, well, I'll turn it off. Okay, who's missing? Yeah, we're definitely missing one. Well, that's a good sign. We won't go disturb her because if she wants to lay an egg, she can. Okay, bye for now, you guys. Let me know what you think. Bye.